No, don't. Why? Why?
Because this is all you do.
It's not, it's all I have.
We don't care.
You know what I just really hate about men is that they can go to a golf course by themselves, have no problem joining a group of guys and playing with them for 18 holes, and all of a sudden it's like their best friend, and they hang out with them every weekend. And the audacity of men to be able to do that is ridiculous, because girls, not a shot.
So let me get this straight. Men minding their business, not gossiping, not fighting over nonsense, not turning every disagreement into emotional warfare. And somehow that's a problem. Before we dive in, drop a comment. Are modern men more delusional, or is it the ladies? Hit like and subscribe so you don't miss what we expose next. That's because we don't secretly hate each other. That line right there, it hits deeper than people want to admit. Because what's really being exposed here isn't video games. It's not hobbies. It's not immaturity. It's the fact that men, when they're around other men, often operate on a completely different social framework. Men bond through shared activity, competition without resentment, roasting without emotional collapse, silence without suspicion. You put a group of guys in a room with a console, a ball, or a project, and they're good. No politics, no social ranking ceremony, no unspoken hostility simmering under fake smiles. And for some people, that's confusing, because we live in a culture that thrives on drama. Content is built on conflict. Friendships are sometimes built on comparison. And social media rewards emotional chaos. So when men opt out, when they choose games over gossip, when they'd rather compete digitally than emotionally, suddenly it's labeled as avoidance, or immaturity, or toxic. But here's the uncomfortable question. Why is male peace so triggering? Why does a group of men enjoying themselves without female validation feel threatening to some observers? Notice the accusation hidden in the complaint. The audacity that men have to not engage in childish drama. Audacity. As if men are required to participate in emotional turbulence to prove maturity. As if refusing jealousy or catfights is somehow suspicious. That's backwards. Historically, male spaces were built on hierarchy, competition, and cooperation, not social sabotage. Brotherhood was forged through challenge, not passive-aggressive tension. Even in ancient warrior cultures, rivalry had structure. There were rules, there was respect. Today, a lot of modern discourse flips that script. If men are calm, they're detached. If they're focused, they're neglectful. If they're entertained without you, they're immature. So what's really happening here? It might not be about games at all. It might be about control of attention. Video games represent something symbolic, a world where men can achieve, compete, collaborate, and decompress without external emotional demand. And that disrupts a dynamic where constant engagement is expected. Now, let's be clear. There are men who overindulge. There are men who escape responsibility. That's real. Accountability matters. But enjoying something with your friends, without drama, without jealousy, without social warfare, that's not a flaw. That's stability. And maybe the real discomfort isn't that men are childish. Maybe it's that they're content. And in a culture fueled by comparison, entitlement, and constant validation cycles, contentment looks rebellious.
But the whole gaming thing...
What's the problem? Jacqueline has this big problem, too. Because...
It's just lazy. It feels... like, unless you're getting paid... And there's a line, right? Like, it's cool if you want to do it every so often. But to me, I'm like... Go educate. Like, go do something productive.
But what is the problem? Like, you know, Jacqueline has a big problem with it, too. Whenever she hears the PlayStation start up, like, I gotta hear the huffing and puffing.
Yeah.
But if I were to just have TV on, you'd be on TikTok as it is, not paying attention.
It's not that,
so why does it bother you?
Because it's not the distraction of me being on TikTok and us watching TV. It's what you could be doing with that time.
There it is, and that's what I knew it.
It's
I knew
what
it. You women want to task us bad
No.
that you're so pissed
No.
that we're taking time
No.
from doing something.
No.
Wait a minute, you're enjoying things? You have time to do this video
see,
game?
here's the thing
Here's all the things you
But
could be
here's
doing.
the thing, you're enjoying it, but you could also be planning something nice for us.
It's funny how leisure suddenly becomes controversial depending on who is enjoying it. When certain people spend hours scrolling, binge-watching shows, going out with friends, or indulging in self-care, it's framed as healthy, necessary, empowering. Everyone agrees you deserve time for yourself. But the moment a man sits down to relax, now it's a crisis. Now it's labeled avoidance, immaturity, a lack of ambition. Suddenly, his downtime needs justification, explanation, and sometimes even permission. And that double standard is where the real conversation starts. Because this isn't actually about hobbies, it's about expectations surrounding attention. Notice the pattern. Leisure is acceptable as long as it doesn't compete with someone else's emotional priority. The issue appears when a man finds genuine enjoyment in something that exists completely outside a relationship dynamic. That's when discomfort shows up. The commentary claims that some people struggle when they're not the center of attention. And while that sounds harsh, there's a psychological layer worth unpacking here. Modern relationships are increasingly built around constant validation loops. Text back quickly, react immediately, share everything. Be emotionally available at all times. Social media reinforces the idea that attention equals affection. So when a man becomes fully engaged in a game, a hobby, or an activity that absorbs his focus, it breaks that loop. He's happy. But the happiness isn't being generated by the relationship in that moment. And for individuals who equate attention with value, that can feel threatening. Think about it. If someone believes their partner's happiness should primarily come from them, then anything else providing joy starts to look like competition, even something as harmless as pixels on a screen. But here's the deeper reality. Healthy relationships aren't built on exclusivity of happiness. They're built on independence coexisting with connection. A man who can enjoy time alone or with friends isn't necessarily disconnecting. He's regulating stress, recharging mentally, and maintaining identity outside the relationship. Psychologically, that's actually linked to longer-term relationship satisfaction. People forget that men often bond and decompress through activity rather than conversation. Games, sports, projects, these aren't just distractions. They're modern versions of shared tribe spaces, places where competition and cooperation coexist without emotional pressure. So when someone becomes jealous of a hobby, the issue usually isn't the hobby itself, it's comparison. If this makes him happy, where does that leave me? But happiness isn't a limited resource. One person's enjoyment doesn't subtract from another's importance. And ironically, trying to control how someone relaxes often creates the exact distance people fear in the first place. Because nothing drains joy faster than feeling like your piece needs approval. The real takeaway here isn't that one side is right and the other is wrong. It's that relationships struggle when leisure becomes politicized, when rest is acceptable for one partner but suspicious for the other. Respect goes both ways. If relaxation is self-care for one person, it has to be self-care for the other too.
Take out the trash?
Yes, just give me 2 minutes.
Fine, I'll just do it myself, you lazy piece of... You... Get off your loser! Oh!
What the hell's wrong with you?
What's wrong with me?
There's like a $10,000 TV!
Yeah, that's all you care about. Maybe now you listen to me.
It's a brand new
heck.
console.
Here!
Now, here's where it gets interesting. Let's compare these two good examples to the others. That right there turns this from a random complaint into a pattern recognition exercise, because once you put behaviors side by side, the double standards become harder to ignore. On one side, you have a man enjoying his freetime.com, focused, not causing chaos, not stepping out of the relationship, not disrespecting anyone, just existing in his own lane. On the other side, you might have someone who says they want peace, but reacts with frustration the moment they're not the emotional centerpiece. So the real question becomes, which dynamic actually feels healthier? The one where both partners have autonomy and individual joy, or the one where happiness must orbit around one person at all times? When you compare examples like that, it exposes something deeper than preference. It exposes values. Do you value independence or constant validation? Do you want a partner with identity or a partner whose entire emotional state revolves around you? Because here's the hard truth. A relationship where one person must be the sole source of fulfillment becomes fragile. That kind of setup breeds pressure, and pressure eventually turns into resentment. Strong relationships aren't built on exclusivity of joy. They're built on shared respect. If a man can't enjoy a hobby without it being interpreted as neglect, that's not partnership, that's performance management. And notice something subtle in the framing. Let me know which one you'd prefer in the comments. Why? Because when you lay it out clearly, most reasonable people instinctively choose stability over emotional turbulence. They choose calm over chaos. They choose a partner who has hobbies, goals, and friendships, because that signals security, not weakness. The irony is this: the same culture that criticizes men for lacking depth or purpose will also criticize them for investing time in activities that give them purpose and connection. So which one is it? Do we want men emotionally healthy and balanced, or constantly seeking approval? When you compare the examples honestly, the answer becomes obvious. But I'm curious, when you strip away the noise in the social media narratives, which dynamic would you actually choose?
If a guy plays video games,
Yeah.
that's a big deal breaker.
Oh, absolutely.
Let me tell you this.
Absolutely.
I want to tell you this. The way that you feel about men who play video games is the way that men feel about the fact that you guys do dance.
Like, why was my ex-boyfriend fine with it? Why is every guy I'm talking to fine with it? Like,
Probably
it's
why
doesn't
only
really-
why
Most
is
men-
your
most
ex?
men
Yeah.
will have an issue.
He's not my ex because of, like, political or reasons. He's my ex because I knew that my intuition was saying he wasn't the one. He wanted it. Believe me, if it was up to him, we'd still be together. He's
has
still,
sex
we're
outside of the
we're
relationship,
exes.
ended-
He's trying to
ended
pay me
divorce.
for jobs now.
I mean, what does that say how he views you?
I would never accept a payment for a job.
understand that,
But you're trying
but
to
that's
say,
how he
oh,
views
he's
you.
your ex because you do dance. He's not my ex because I do dance. He's my ex because I don't want him in my life.
Okay, so you're attracting negative men that continually
Well, I'm an
hurt you.
empath, so I naturally.
So you naturally attract
attract-
toxic people?
Well, yeah, they're hot as.
When women say they don't like men that play video games, it rarely has anything to do with the video games themselves, and it has more to do with things like emotional availability and emotional maturity and time management. And a frustration is when a guy is more invested in his screen than talking to his partner. Like, if you're in the middle of having an emotional conversation and you're trying to connect, and then your partner is in the middle of a boss fight, it can be really hard to have that emotional conversation.
Isn't it interesting how these serious conversations always seem to pop up at the exact same time? Not when bills are due, not when real conflict needs resolution, not when there's an actual breakdown in communication. No, they happen when he's enjoying himself. He's gaming, he's watching the match, he's out with friends, he's immersed in something that has absolutely nothing to do with her. That's when the emergency meeting gets scheduled, and we're supposed to believe that's coincidence. Let's be honest about what's happening here. If the complaint is about time management, then time management applies to both people. If someone already acknowledged that balancing responsibilities and leisure is important, then the solution is simple. Coordinate schedules, communicate expectations, set boundaries. That's adult behavior. But if the conversation only triggers when he's visibly happy doing something independent, then it's not really about scheduling, it's about control over access. Because here's the uncomfortable truth. Some people don't struggle with neglect. They struggle with not being prioritized every second. There's a difference. Neglect is consistent disregard. Autonomy is healthy separation, and modern culture has blurred those lines. We've created an environment where constant availability is seen as proof of devotion. If he's not responding instantly, if he's not emotionally tuned in 24/7, if his attention is temporarily redirected, it's interpreted as withdrawal. But that mindset creates a no-win situation. If a man focuses entirely on his partner, he's told he lacks ambition. If he builds his own hobbies in space, he's told he's disconnected. So what's the standard? You can't demand maturity while resisting independence. You can't preach time management while refusing to manage your own emotional timing. If a conversation truly needs to happen, it can happen at a mutually respectful moment. That's how functional adults operate. They don't weaponize timing to interrupt peace. And let's zoom out for a second. A man who can enjoy something without constant supervision, without external validation, without needing applause, that's emotional regulation. That's stability. If that stability feels threatening, the issue isn't the activity. It's insecurity about not being the sole source of joy. And that's a much deeper conversation than video games.
What is this?
Turn around.
Babe, this isn't a Cadillac.
It's a Jeep Wagoneer. It's just as nice as a Cadillac.
You bought this.
I bought it for you.
Are you messing with me right now?
No, you said this. You wanted an SUV for the family. This is.
I said I wanted a Cadillac. This is not a Cadillac. Why would you spend money on? How much was this thing?
It was.
A lot of money when you should have got a Cadillac.
This is very similar. I looked up stuff that's similar to the Cadillac. This is very.
Why would you try to surprise me with something similar when I asked you for a Cadillac?
You could sit in it and look in it, and you'll see.
I'm about to.
You'll see it's very similar.
Can you return it?
I don't think it works like that.
You're not posting this because.
This is. It's paid for. Like it's.
I mean, it's pretty, but it's not a Cadillac. I just wanted a Cadillac. That's what I asked for. And you said we couldn't get it.
Saying I'm just a girl is so funny. Like, I'm 28 years old, but like, yes, I'm just a girl. Like, if a man were to say I'm just a boy, oh my God, like that would make me physically ill to hear a man say that. Like, no, you're a man. You go out to work and you do important man things as a man should. But me, a 28-year-old girl, I am just a girl. I shouldn't have responsibilities because I'm literally just a girl.
And now we've officially escalated. We went from he plays video games to he shouldn't be allowed to vote. Think about how extreme that jump is. If you want to be a 28-year-old adult child with no responsibilities, forfeit your right to vote. That's not a critique. That's punishment language. And it reveals something important. This was never just about hobbies. It's about moral superiority. Because let's slow this down. Playing video games does not automatically equal irresponsibility. Relaxing does not equal incompetence. Having leisure does not revoke adulthood. Voting is a civic right tied to citizenship, not whether you spent 2 hours on a console after work. But notice the framing. If you enjoy this, you must be avoiding responsibility. That's a false equivalence. Adulthood is measured by accountability, paying your bills, honoring commitments, handling obligations, not by whether your downtime looks serious enough to impress someone else. You can be a 28-year-old man who works full-time, pays taxes, handles his responsibilities, supports a family, and still unwind with a game at night. Those two realities are not mutually exclusive. What's really happening here is the conflation of masculinity with constant productivity. Some people genuinely believe that a man's worth is tied exclusively to output. If he's not grinding, building, fixing, earning, or providing every visible second, he's failing. But that mindset creates burnout, not strength. Historically, even in the most responsibility-heavy societies, men had structured leisure, competition, games, sport, storytelling. These were not signs of weakness. They were part of male bonding and psychological recovery. The irony is powerful. The same culture that talks about mental health will mock men for decompressing. So let's ask the real question. Is adulthood about never resting? Or is it about handling your obligations and knowing when to step back? And the voting comment adds another layer. Civic participation isn't reserved for people who perform seriousness 24/7. If anything, a functioning democracy requires mentally regulated citizens, not exhausted, resentful ones. Stripping someone's legitimacy because they have a hobby sounds less like responsibility and more like gatekeeping adulthood. Because here's the deeper pattern. When a man enjoys something harmless, some interpret it as regression. But when that same man shuts down emotionally from constant criticism, suddenly he's accused of being unavailable. You can't shame men into maturity by attacking their outlets. Responsibility is about what you handle, not what you enjoy. And if a person is meeting their obligations, contributing to society, and still choosing joy in their free time, that's not an overgrown child. That's a balanced adult.
A red flag in men that's actually normalized in society is a man playing video games. I used to think that this was acceptable growing up, but as I continue to grow old, I just can't seem to justify it. It's like in my mind, a man playing a video game is the equivalent of a grown man coloring in a coloring book. It's like, aren't we just kind of beyond that? It's like, why wouldn't we go outside, shoot a gun, or chop some wood? It's like, I just think that if a hobby isn't either building competence or somewhat leading to personal growth internally, whether it's, physical development, mental development, spiritual development, it's like, why are we even doing it? Like, why are we wasting our time with a video game for a quick dopamine high?
It's almost as if men can't have relaxed fun anymore. I really feel like this is coming from some sort of script that his girlfriend gave him. Guys, it's okay to play video games if that's what you enjoy and it's not overtaking your life. It's also okay for you to individually decide that you don't want to play video games anymore because you want to spend your time doing something else.
Creators who get on here talking about grown men shouldn't be playing video games, y'all are insufferable. Bro, so long as you don't overindulge in video games and put your responsibilities aside, you can play video games. Is there no room for leisure in the life of a grown man? I don't understand it. What? Like, I get if you say don't go to dangerous environments, like don't go partying and drinking where drugs and violence is going on, or there's a high possibility of it happening, or a higher possibility of it happening in this place than any other place. I get that, right? Like, especially if you're married or in a committed relationship, going out to the club and partying and doing all this. I get saying totally stay away from those places. But being in the comfort of your own home after like a long day of work, relax, you've done everything you've had to do as an adult. You can't sit back and play some 2K, some Fortnite, some Call of Duty. Where does the logic?
So now the standard has officially reached superhero levels. Apparently, if you're not building a house with your bare hands in your spare time, you're not a real man. Read that again. Not handle your responsibilities, not be accountable, not have goals. No. You need to be forging steel, hunting elk, and constructing log cabins by sunset, or your masculinity is revoked. This is where the conversation stops being serious and starts becoming theatrical, because what's being described isn't maturity, it's performance masculinity. There's this exaggerated image floating around online, the hyper-productive, hyper-disciplined, never-resting archetype. The man who wakes up at 4 a.m., cold plunges, flips real estate, hits the gym twice, reads 3 books, and somehow still has time to launch a startup before dinner. And if you dare relax, you're labeled average, weak, not ambitious. But here's the reality check. Masculinity has never been defined by constant visible labor. It's been defined by competence and responsibility. A man who handles his obligations, pays his bills, shows up for his commitments, protects what he builds, and still finds time to unwind, that's not a failure. That's sustainability. The irony is powerful. The same voices that demand men be providers also ridicule them for taking the very downtime that prevents burnout. You can't demand strength while mocking recovery. And let's address something deeper. When someone says, if you're not doing X extreme productive thing in your free time, you're not a real man, what they're really saying is, your value must always be earned. You must always be proving, always grinding, always performing. But adulthood isn't about theatrics. It's about balance. A man building a business all week has earned the right to decompress. A man who works hard and relaxes intentionally is not regressing. He's regulating. And when masculinity becomes a never-ending productivity contest, nobody wins. Not the men burning out, not the partners frustrated, not the relationship strained by unrealistic expectations. Real strength isn't loud. It's stable. It's disciplined where it matters and relaxed where it can be. If you've enjoyed the video this far and want to see more breakdowns like this, sharp, honest, and unfiltered, go ahead and like the video. It helps more than you think. And we're just getting started.
Need men to get bank accounts, houses, they have careers on their own.
No, you still rely on men, it's just indirect now. See, men have always been in between women and the real world. That your office job is not real life. Here's another depiction of that. Here's men going out to face danger and build things on the outside in order to create a safe space for women on the inside. This is how it's always been, and it still is. You just don't understand that because you're too comfortable. Men still do all the hard work. If all women stopped working right now, we'd be fine. If all men stopped working, everyone would die. And that is, again, because men make all the food and build all the houses and the walls, and they used to guard the border. I guess they gave up on that. Women have never done that and can't. Men still do all of the necessary things to create the space for you to have your girl bossing fun time. The way it works is that women are always really happy for men to do the hard, dangerous work until times are really good, until we build something better than this. And then you look around and you go, hey, men have more than us. No fair. You go to the government, which writes some laws for you, which makes you equal, and then you are disgusted by men who are equal to you. So without equality laws, it's very easy for women to find men they respect, and with equality laws, it's very difficult. And then everyone tells these men that they're worthless. And then they go, okay, well, I don't want to be this guy, so I'll just be this guy. And then they never grow up and they never do anything. And then you hate them even more. So your girl bossing crap is just not going to last very long because women cannot do what men do. You can't do that work of building the physical world. And what you're doing now is just sort of taking it away from men and having it for yourself without giving them anything back, which makes them go away. And then, like, imagine if you had to build a house. It's not going to happen. And then when men go away, then there is nothing in between you and bad stuff. So you might want to stop being so mouthy.
I'm probably going to get a lot of hate from women who are dating men who play video games, but I just got to get this off my chest. So you know how, like, men will say that they need to come home and then just, like, turn their brain off, and video games does that for them? I'm talking, like, healthy, you know? Like, you're still an adult, but this is your downtime? Well, let me just say, ladies, you're missing out. So, I've been watching him play, this Xbox game, and it got me, like, really intrigued. So, he got a new Xbox. I got his old Xbox, and I'm like, hey, can you show me how to play this game? I don't know if it was a blessing or a curse, because on Saturday, I played that game for, like, almost 6 hours. My eyes were like... And every time I come home, I just want to play it. So, when the kids are in bed and the kitchen's clean, I, like, run to the bedroom so I can play. And then sometimes he plays, and then we talk to each other in a party. But it's awesome. You should try it.
Here are the things that are bothering me about you this week. Number 1, you play too much video games. Number 2, you play too much video games. Number 3, you played video games for like 2 hours before I even got home. Then I tell you, dude, you've been playing too much video games today. And you're like, no, I just got on like a half an hour ago. It's literally been like 5 hours. You've been playing video games for 5 hours. He's like, oh, we hung out today. No, we didn't. We got dinner for half an hour. The rest of the day, you've been playing video games. He's like, whoa, hanging out with video games.
What are you saying?
Playing video games as a grown man is weird to me. Why do men play these games all day? It's because they're fun, like scientifically.
If this conversation made you raise an eyebrow, if it challenged how you've been looking at modern relationships, if it exposed just how quickly leisure turns into immaturity, depending on who's doing it, then trust me, the next one goes even deeper. Because this isn't just about video games. It's about attention. It's about control. It's about the unspoken rules people expect men to follow without ever saying them out loud. In the next video, we break down another example that takes this same mindset to a whole different level. And once you see the pattern, you won't unsee it. If you enjoyed this video, I promise you'll love the next one. I'll see you there.